guys, today I'm talking about 8 makeup items. I have found 8 makeup items that I have been using for years, and so obviously they're really good. I keep on repurchasing them, etc, etc. There's loads more I could have done, to be honest, but I find with makeup especially, you just get to use something and like it and you can no longer buy it. Like literally the avocado mascara, I think it's by the Beauty Crop, is still going. And I was thinking I must mention this in a favourites, nothing to do with this video, but I must mention it in a favourites because it's still going. I've had it for so long and it's not like drying out, it's still working really well. And I went to look online and it's not available. I think you might be able to get it on eBay, and I was like, what is going on that I've bought a product and before I've even finished it, it's not available? It's crazy. Anyway, will I do it in any order? Yeah, let's sort of do it in the order I would put it on. So the first one is foundation, and I have used this KVD Good Apple liquid foundation for years now. I first bought it, actually I can't remember when I first bought it, but I had checked it to make sure that I had been using it for years, because I was like, have I? It feels quite new, but it's actually not. And although I've said recently that I fancied a new foundation, and I have bought like many new foundations, I think I've bought 5 new foundations, I still love this. It's not that this is not good. I will still use this. I would still repurchase this, and I have got 2 colours, as you can see, and I've got my little cheap glasses that are probably really dirty. There they are. Careful with despairs. Let me go and clean them. Okay, I thought it was worth telling you the colours that I've got. I have got light 010. My God, I can still barely see it. And light 015. So light 010 is this one. Should have brought tissues in with me. And then light 015. Actually, light 015 suits my skin better, I think, doesn't it? That's light 010, that's light 015. There's loads of colours in these, loads of choice. So what do I love about it? I love that it's liquid, but it's full coverage. You don't need to build it up at all. It is just full coverage. It goes on really nice and blends really easily. And you've got plenty of blend time. It's not one, even though it's a liquid, it doesn't dry down instantly. Like I do love that Rare Beauty one I found, but it does dry down pretty quickly and you have to blend it quite quickly. This one you don't, but it dries matte and it stays put and you don't need to worry about your makeup going anywhere. So that's why I love that foundation and have used it for years now. This is probably the newest out of all the items here because everything else I have used for many, many years. Whereas this I think is 2 or 3, something like that. Okay, next I would put on my bronzing fluid. This is the Photography Fluid, opacity 8%. I can't even remember how many of these I've bought, probably 4 or 5 because they last a long, long time. But this is what I use as a bronzer. I use it to warm up my face. If I wasn't going to wear any eyeshadow, sometimes I just put foundation, bronzer, blush and do my brows and that's it. I would use this and it just, I put my foundation on and then I put this, I either use my beauty blender and sort of pop a bit on like that on my face and then blend it in. But I find the beauty blender soaks it up a bit, so more often than not I will use a brush. But it just, as soon as I put this on, I'm like, yeah, that's it. As my face just comes alive, you know, it's just the perfect colour for me. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't love the bottle it's in, to be honest. I wish there was an easier way of doing this, but I'm not sure how. Like if it was in a pump bottle, it's too liquid, it would go everywhere. So I'm not sure what else they could do, but I love that step of my makeup, and it's there at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of just stays put. Love that. So I've used that, like I said, I've repurchased that many times. Brows, I've been using this for many, many years. This is the NYX Brow Pencil. This one is in taupe. I always used to use, I think it was chocolate, and I also used auburn sometimes, but this is taupe. And taupe is the perfect colour for me, I think. I don't have taupe on today because I took this out to put for the video and used my, oh God, I can't even remember the name of the pencil. It's one I ordered online. It's not one available in the shops. But anyway, this is my favourite and I love the NYX pencils. They're just brilliant. They're exactly like the Anastasia brow pencils, but a lot less expensive, I think. So love that. It stays put. It goes on, it doesn't go on patchy at all. You know, it's easy to, like, you just flip over to the spoolie side and blend it in. I love it. Also for the brows, I do love, I was just mentioning them, the Anastasia brow powders. And I was saying that you can easily dupe the Anastasia brow pencils, I think, but I don't think you can easily dupe these. Now, I've seen lots of people over the years using eyeshadow for their brows, and I have tried using eyeshadow, and I have also bought many less expensive brow powders and tried them, and it's just not the same. Firstly, these just go on like a dream, and I found that eyeshadow is either too pigmented, you know, and you have to really sort of get more shadow off, or it's not pigmented enough. It doesn't seem to cling to the skin, and then even if I get it right, it doesn't seem to stay on. These, they're just the perfect texture and the perfect amount of pigment, and they stay put. I think that's the thing, they sort of seem to attach to skin. I don't know whether that's just, I don't know whether it's psychological, whether there's actually something in here. I think there's obviously something in here. Maybe it's a bit more waxy, you know, maybe there's a tiny bit of wax in there somewhere. It doesn't feel waxy, it just feels like a powder. But like I said, it just seems to, because I've not got full hairs here, obviously some of it is skin, and I've got tattooed brows, so I need it to cling to the skin. I've got two colours here, as you can see. I've got caramel, I think it's called, yeah, caramel and taupe. And as you can see, I don't use the taupe one as much. I need to try that out, actually. I might leave that out and give it a try. But I always use the caramel one because I always had red hair, but as I said in another video, the red is just disappearing from my hair with age, and so I'm leaning more towards cooler things. But hopefully I'll lean back towards the warmer things when I've had my hair highlighted or coloured or whatever. But I love those. Okay, onto eyeshadow, Viseart Petit Matte. Like I said, I could mention lots of things, and with Viseart, I loved the Theory palettes, but they are no longer available, but I do love those. I think you can get them on eBay if you're interested, but I also love the Petit Mattes, and this is the one that I use the most. I've got the neutral one, but this is the warm, I think oh no, this is the neutral one. I've got the warm that I don't use as much. I don't know whether I've changed colours in here, because that looks kind of cool to me. Definitely at the bottom, they're cooler colours, aren't they? Anyhow, I love Viseart shadows. I absolutely love them. And these are those ones where you can just take one of these shadows out. I'm trying to be careful because I've got nails and I don't want to break anything, you know. And I've got another palette of this, which I think is called the Rose Edit. And I've switched, you know, shadows around in that. And I just love, Viseart shadows. I've had, I think it was this palette actually in the big size, because these are the mini ones in the cardboard. But do you remember when they first came out, they were in a plastic square. I think you can still buy them like that in full size shadows. So these are only little shadows, you know, which I prefer personally. But I had the big palette, but I wasn't really into mattes very much when I bought that. And that was 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe even more. So this is just a mini version, and I love it. I love all of the shadows in here. I've always loved the quality of Viseart shadows. You know, they're not too pigmented, they blend really well, and I think they'd be great for beginners. If you want to buy, you know, a beginner a luxury gift, one of these palettes would be great, and especially if you're into mattes. I've been more into mattes the last few years, as you know. Still on eyeshadow, I love the Naked Basics palettes. I don't think this is called Naked Basics, but I've got the Naked Basics original, and I just think it looks yummy apart from anything, but you can see that, hopefully you can see they're well used. Now, I don't go through eyeshadow palettes very often because I've got so many, you know, and so I'm sort of rotating through them, and there's also been periods where I just don't wear any makeup, but I have definitely gone, like this one here is fairly near the bottom, and I would definitely replace these if I used them up. My absolute favourite one is the Naked Basics 2, this one, and you'll see I have actually used up that colour there and also made a good dent in the others. I love using these. I've used these pretty recently. I love the quality of the shadows. They're not too pigmented. My candle's running out on the table. Just got my little dinky one there. I love the quality of the shadows. I love the staying power. The actual colour of these, I just think is yummy for matte colours. They're just really, really yummy, don't you think? Really delicious looking. So love those. But I've also got this, which I love, and I've been using this for years as well. This is the Naked 3, Urban Decay Naked 3 Mini. So it's got a few colours in. Unfortunately, it doesn't have Sin in it. That's my favourite colour from the Naked 3 palette. It's got, is that Stolen? Public, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, love those, love the mattes, and I love those ones that are a little bit metallic. That's it for eyeshadows. A blush that I have been using for years, or blushes, is Illamasqua. I have loved Illamasqua everything actually for many years. Well, not their foundation. I never found a foundation that I liked from Illamasqua, but I used to use their pigments. I've still got many of their single eyeshadows that I use. What else? I've used eyeliner from them. I used to use their cream pigments as a base, you may remember. But the blushes, they're just, this colour in Lover, I'm sure you'll have heard me say this, and there was a time where I wore nothing but this. This has got a good dent in it as well. It's just such a beautiful colour, really, really beautiful. And this one is Nymph. I don't love the colour of this so much. And I think this one is easier to buy. There isn't a huge range of colours available easily. You can find them like on eBay and whatnot, but like look fantastic. I think these two colours. And I just, because I was showing you these, I just repurchased Katie, and I bought it for Amazon, and it was like £6, whereas these are normally really expensive. I've got a feeling that I had got rid of Katie because it was too light. It's a light pink. It looks beautiful, but it's not as light. It's not as dark as it looks in the picture. But I thought, you know what, I'm just curious. Let me try again and see if I do like it. But they're just so smooth and the perfect amount of pigment, and you know, they don't go on and you think, oh God, I'm gonna have to like blend that out. They go on, they look really pretty, they last. I love them, absolutely love them. And the final items, though, I do have one bonus item that I thought about this morning, but the final item to talk about is my Stila liquid lipsticks. I don't know how many people are into liquid lipsticks now. Like I said, I just don't watch YouTube. I need to start watching a couple of beauty YouTubers just to catch up, you know, and find out what's new and find out the answer to things like that. Are people still into liquid lipsticks? I still love liquid lipsticks and haven't used anything else, or rarely used anything else, since discovering them, you know, since they started becoming popular. And these have been my favourites. I did like the Too Faced ones, they no longer exist. But these are the ones where I found the best colours for me. These are the ones that are the least drying, because, you know, liquid lipsticks are obviously quite drying, but these are the least drying out of them. And these three are my favourite colours, I think. Caramello, yeah, you'll recognise Caramello. It's just a nudie brown. And it looks lighter than that, I think, on the skin. This one, I think, is Perla. They're very similar, these, but I think Batchy is more purple. So that's Batchy. I am going to hold that up for longer. I'm just going to put Perla on. Perla is, if I had to choose one, it would be Perla. That's one of my ultimate favourites. It never looks like I've got something that pink on camera though, does it? But I think that's because I powder over my lips and put a gloss on, and it sort of dilutes it a bit. But so that's Caramello, Batchy and Perla. Like I said, Batchy and Perla are very similar, but I think Batchy's a bit cooler, or a bit more purple. Yeah, but I love those. Like I said, they stay. They don't dry out my lips. You know, I do get dry lips in the summer, but they don't make them any drier at all. And they stay. One more bonus item, like I said, just as I was doing my makeup this morning, I realised that this is something else I have used for many, many years, and I completely forgot about it until somebody mentioned it to me the other day. They said Inglot eyeliner. So I was talking about not having anything to stay in my waterline, and they mentioned Inglot Inglot eyeliner for my waterline, and yeah, I've completely forgotten. I think mine had run out. I used to even I had a special liquid that I put in to loosen it up, you know, when I used these a lot, because I used to use this for my top line as well as waterline. And so I repurchased it, and I love it. It still is the best thing for the waterline, I think. I feel like it does you need like half an hour for they need to sort of transfer to the middle of your eye. And so I'll put this on and then, you know, half an hour later, use a cotton bud and just get rid of the little bits in the corner. And then that's it, it lasts for the rest of the day. Sometimes at the very end of the day, it can smudge down a little bit under here, but this is the longest lasting, even longer lasting than my Milk eyeliner pencil. Or maybe it's about the same, because the Milk pencil is pretty good, but what I would say is this is more intense, way more intense. If you're looking for a really black line, you'll get it from this, but whereas a Milk pencil is not as pigmented. So I wanted to mention that for you. So did I tell you actually what it was? It's called Inglot AMC gel eyeliner. That is everything. That's everything that I can tell you about anyway. Like I said, there's so many things that I looked at and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do a video that says 30 things that I've used for years, you know, because I've bought less makeup in the last few years and used more of what I had, which I'm so pleased about. I still do buy makeup, obviously, but nowhere near as much. I used to buy every new palette that was out, you know, and I rarely buy eyeshadow palettes now. And if I do, they're matte ones, which I suppose is why I don't buy them as much, because there's not as many of those come out, you know. But I hope you enjoyed that. Let me tell you what I'm wearing on my face. The foundation I used this morning was the Twist Up stick. Who's it by? Fenty Beauty. The Twist Up foundation stick in number 2. On my eyes I used the Kylie palette, because remember I said I was going to try and use that and see what I thought, and I do like the look today. And on my lips, funny enough, it's Kylie as well. It's the Kylie liquid lipstick in Decay, and then the blush is the iconic sheer blush in Fearless Flush. Wow, I can't believe I remembered everything there. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.